Coming up on CityView, to understand Austin's history, it's important to know what happened in 1928. A new safety campaign to slow down to get around. And it's getting easier to get to there from here. Hi, thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Carol Barish. Our community experienced 3 frightening, tense, and tragic weeks between March 2nd and March 21st. During this time, Austin lost 2 residents, Anthony Stephen House, 39, and Draylon Mason, 17, while 4 other people continue to recover from injuries sustained from 4 bombs allegedly planted by suspect Mark A. Condit. Interim Police Chief Brian Manley addressed the public.
We want to take an opportunity again to brief the community on the significant investigation that has taken place to address the significant attack that took place on our community over 3 weeks.
A serial bomber in Austin.
Suspicious package, the police say, is now being made safe.
And we're waiting to see what happens next.
I know everybody is interested in a motive and understanding why. And we are never going to be able to put a ration behind these acts. But what I can tell you, having listened to that recording, he does not at all mention anything about terrorism, nor does he mention anything about hate. Based on what we heard on the recording, he described the 6 devices, and we have recovered those 6 devices. The suspect describes the 6 bombs that he constructed. He identified the differences among those 6 bombs. We have told you all along that they all had similarities, which they did. He also described the 7th device, that being the one he had on him early this morning. There was a decision made to put the stop in that frontage road before he got on I-35 and potentially went anywhere else. So our tactical team employed a tactic to stop the vehicle, and when we got that vehicle stopped, many members of the Austin Police Department approached his vehicle, and as they got to the window and began to bang on the window, what you can see on the video is a tremendous explosion that takes place, and you see our officers fall backwards from the blast. We had officers knowing they had just stopped someone who has been involved in placing bombs around our community for 3 weeks, knowing the dangers involved in that, but they ran towards that and they put an end to it. We were concerned throughout the investigation, what was the motive? What was the reason? And again, everybody always wants to understand a reason, and sometimes we can't assign a reason to irrational acts. But what is clear from listening to that video is this was a very troubled young man who was talking about challenges in his life that led him to the point to where he took the actions that he took. There were indications that he stated in the video that he felt like we were getting very close to him.
In my time as 12 years as Attorney General and 3 years as Governor, have not seen a better job than what we've seen from this police chief and the Austin Police Force.
What I learned was that as a community, we do not know our neighbors the way that we should, or perhaps the way that we used to. I think it is real important as a community that we use this moment. The legacy of this event for us should be that we walk across the street and introduce ourselves to our neighbors, or down the street or across the hall.
We are thankful for the assistance of over 500 federal, state, and local officials. We are grateful for the collaboration from the FBI, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, the Texas Rangers, the City of San Antonio, and many others. Austin Police Department's 911 operators have answered more than 12,500 calls in the last few days, including 1,300 suspicious packages. Police officials still caution residents to remain vigilant. Council issued a proclamation marking the 90th anniversary of Austin's 1928 city plan. The plan led to zoning rules that resulted in racial segregation across the city. Councilmember Ora Houston and others spoke about the impact of this city plan.
The 1928 plan was mandated by an all-white, all-male city council to circumvent a 1917 Supreme Court ruling that zoning laws used to segregate the races were in fact illegal. The plan forced individuals, families, congregations, businesses to move, leaving behind homes, property, and any wealth that they had accumulated. City services such as utilities, schools, parks were provided to the displaced population only if they relocated. And that included poor people, people of color, and immigrants. So this proclamation on Thursday is to acknowledge this milestone in our collective history. It is to tell the story of our city and to remind our community of the importance of being aware of how our history impacts our present and ultimately our future. We must learn from the past. If not, we're doomed to repeat it.
You might have noticed some new nonstop flights from Austin Bergstrom Airport during South by Southwest this year. Scandinavian Airlines operated nonstop flights between Stockholm and Austin, marking the first scheduled service from this airline and this destination.
There's been a lot of attention on South by Southwest, the economic impact it has, how the foreign travelers come here, and now we have a foreign carrier bringing people from transatlantic destinations to Austin specifically for this event.
Delta Airlines also had a temporary nonstop route before and after South by Southwest from Amsterdam to ABIA. These temporary routes joined several new recurring nonstop international flights from Austin, including London Gatwick, the Dominican Republic, Guadalajara, Mexico, and Mexico City. Find all nonstop routes with an interactive flight guide on www.abia.org. According to the National Waste and Recycling Association, solid waste collection employees in the U.S. have the 5th highest fatality rate of any occupation. That's why Austin Resource Recovery is doing their part to promote the Slow Down to Get Around National Safety Campaign to raise awareness of the role and responsibility Austin drivers have in protecting the lives and safety of these employees.
Moved the eye and cut in there to see the damage. And they actually drilled the screws through my mouth, and the screws are here. It changed everything. This could happen to anybody. When I woke up December 23rd, 2016, if somebody would have told me this was going to happen to me that day, I wouldn't have believed them. So I put the truck in park. I get out. I look behind me and in front of me, the coast is clear. I get to the back of the truck and I get a 90-gallon can and I hook it onto the back of the truck.
Watch your back. Hey, you got a biker right there.
I hooked the can on the truck. Out of my peripheral in my right eye, I saw a small compact car coming at me at a high rate of speed. It came out at 38 and a half and accelerated to try to catch the turn signal light. They had no idea anything happened. In a flash, I had to make a decision. I stepped up to the truck, which was probably the worst thing I could have did. At that moment, the bar shot off here at a high rate of speed and hit me right in the face. I didn't feel any pain actually, and I thought something came out of the back of the truck and hit me in the teeth. So I grabbed my teeth and looking at my coworker, I said, "Anthony, I think something just knocked my teeth out." And he's getting real animated by the minute, more animated, and it's starting to make me panic. And I really can't hear anything because I'm in shock and my ears are ringing. A lady on a bike stopped, I remember her, and she was screaming. And that even made me panic even more. I was like, "Ma'am, are you okay?" She's like, "Oh my God, I'm calling the ambulance." My nose was punched in. It was a perfect circle below my eye. And as I felt here, I felt a bunch of, felt like rice. I remember being inside the ambulance after that and telling the paramedic that something was seriously wrong. It hurt bad, it hurt. I understand you have to pass the truck on either the left or right side. Just be cautious, try to make eye contact, with the person operating the vehicle or the person at the back of the truck.
Every day, 290 trash, compost, and recycling collection vehicles hit the streets, servicing about 200,000 Austin area homes. We're asking Austin drivers to yield when approaching recycling and waste management vehicles, to be alert to potential collection employees working on the street, and to drive slowly when going around the vehicle. Remember, to slow down to get around. As the clock struck midnight during this year's South by Southwest, City Hall was the place to be for local companies and international ones too.
Ready? Let's go!
For the second year, 10 brands, almost all from Austin, were pitching their products by way of a live stream to Chinese buyers. This event was made possible through a partnership between the City of Austin and e-commerce giant Alibaba, who are looking to sell Western brands for their unique quality and prestige. Products range from natural foods like Rhythm Superfoods to personal products like Atlas Wearables Fitness Technology and Blue Avocado's reusable storage bags.
I love this function.
Brands represented the Austin culture through engaging creative presentations and were accompanied by live Austin musicians Ray Prim and Johnny Gray. The evening drew in thousands of store owners in China watching and buying products from the Texas businesses, and over 5 of the 10 companies generated bona fide orders.
And the demand is only growing. The first event we ran, we had thousands of people live stream. We've got even more at this event, so it's great. We're educating China to what Austin has to offer, the great entrepreneurs that Austin produces, the great product that Austin produces. So it's just it's a pleasure to come here and match that supply and demand, match those buyers and sellers, and create those sales into China.
The event was so successful, the City of Austin and Alibaba have already committed to repeating this event next year. To get more information on expanding your business internationally, visit atxbound.us. Well, that's all for this week's CityView. I'm your host, Carol Barish. Our next episode premieres Monday, April 9th. We leave you with the sights and sounds of South by Southwest 2018. Thanks for watching.
Hola en inglés, hi everybody. I'm super excited to be here. Soy de Colombia, amo Colombia. Y esto dice así. Hello, yeah, 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 yeah.